the fans of the Brazilian national team after Carlo Ancelotti ends up signing an extension with Real Madrid. Remember, hey, he said it a few months ago. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what's going on. I'm with Real Madrid right now. Ednaldo Rodriguez, who was the president of the Brazilian FA, the CBF, he said last year, he says, confirmed 100% that we have Carlo Ancelotti as our new coach. Of course, Fernando Diniz was going to be the caretaker until the contract was over at Real Madrid. He was going to come during the summer to coach Brazil during Copa America. That's not happening, obviously. And Brazil looks very bad right now. Because when your president, when your leader, when the person that is the one that supervises everything, the one that makes things happen, ends up being the one that says, hey, you know what, this is going to happen, and it doesn't, then you're running a very rudderless organization. And that's basically what Brazil is right now. What now? Is Fernando Diniz going to continue coaching both Fluminense and the Brazilian national team? I mean, because at that stage, obviously Fluminense lets Fernando Diniz go with the condition that it's only going to be on an interim basis. So what's going to happen now? What's going to happen now? Who's going to be taking over this floundering ship, if you will? Who's going to take this over? I mean, does Fernando Diniz continue to Copa America? That's probably going to be the case, but now keep in mind the Brasileirão does not stop during Copa America, or it stops at certain stages of Copa America, because it is going to be complicated for Brazil now. And it wasn't a great 2023. It wasn't a great end of 2022 either. So what does 2024 have in store? It's pretty preoccupying, because now you find yourselves in a position where, okay, Carlo Ancelotti was talked about for almost a year, over a year, as a matter of fact. After the World Cup, as a matter of fact, I could say that he was being mentioned as the next coach of the Brazilian national team. Or even before, a little bit before the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, if memory doesn't fail me. What do you do now? What do you do now if you're the incoming president? Of course, keep in mind elections for the Brazilian FA, I should say, begin in January, and on top of that, you have the possibility of being kicked out of the World Cup with the government intervention that eventually takes out Ednaldo Rodriguez. What do you do? There's a lot of questions. I mean, look, one thing is this, and it happens in a lot of countries. One thing is the CBF, the FA, and how it's run. Another thing is the league. The Brasileirão right now is the most powerful league, the biggest league, the most competitive league in this part of the hemisphere. You can tell me everything you want about Liga MX. You can tell me whatever you want about MLS. No, it is not. It is far from that. The other leagues compared to the Brasileirão. The Brasileirão is way, way stronger. Way, way stronger than any of those two leagues. And that has been the case throughout. So you end up seeing what's going on with Brazilian football, and it's very sad. It's really an indication of how different things are depending on who you're dealing with. One thing, like I said, is the FA. And another thing is everybody else. I mean, you know, when you talk about Flamengo, Palmeiras, Atlético Mineiro, those teams, maybe you can even throw in Corinthians, maybe you can throw in Sao Paulo. But the biggest thing here is that, man, it's a big issue. It's a big problem. And we're going to have to see what happens, because whoever takes over has some major work, some major reconstruction, and a major facelift that has to happen in Brazilian football for it to start to really get back on track. Because as of right now, forget the suspensions, forget the drama, forget everything else. The functionality of the team overall is having a lot of problems. I don't see them competing for Copa America as of right now. Now, in 6 months, many things can change. But what's supposed to change in Brazil is going to take a long time.